The tree-lined neighborhoods of Lincoln, Nebraska are home to traditional backyard barbecues. But when Russ Marr wheels out his grill, the experience is anything but conventional.
Okay, this is my El Toro Bravo smoker grill combination unit that I made a few years back, and it gets a heck of a lot of attention every time I pull it out of the garage and use it.
Russ has worked with metal his whole life, and he's an avid barbecuer. The Bull is both a smoker and a grill, but no matter how you're cooking it, the fuel goes into the same place, the firebox, located in the chest of the Bull.
The firebox down here that's used for indirect cooking, and then you've got the grill unit over here that's used for direct grilling or hotter cooking. The head flips forward to get access to the lid to the firebox, and here is where the charcoals and the wood is loaded into the firebox. You light your fire, close the lid.
Those smoking nostrils indicate this Bull is in business. This bovine body has been carefully engineered so each segment has a legitimate function in maintaining the temperature and airflow needed for cooking.
So there's tubing that carries the air into the firebox, and then there's ductwork down here that carries the heat and the smoke back into the cooking chamber over your meat. Might be able to get some puffs coming out here.
Even the tail has a roll. It was Russ's original method to get the fire going.
The first time I used it, I ended up sitting there for about 8 hours straight, pumping that tail up and down. So right then and there, I decided I think I'm gonna need something other than that.
So he added Plan B just inside El Toro's back left leg.
Got an electric air pump mounted behind this leg, and it's hooked to a rheostat where it can be controlled. You can turn the air down to a very low volume, or sometimes you can turn the air off completely.
Russ admits he's a tinkerer. He works in the aviation industry, but is also an artist, sculpting birds and ducks from metal and even old motorcycle gas tanks. Building barbecues was something he took on as yet another hobby. He was building another smoker when he came up with the idea for El Toro.
Just standing back and looking at the smoker, it just reminded me of a charging bull, so I always thought it would be neat to make one that looked like a charging bull.
Traditional welding methods wouldn't do for what Russ had in mind. To make El Toro work, he had to learn how to cast aluminum.
Cast aluminum is easy to work with. It's perfect for a smoker. If you were going to use bronze or another metal, it's going to be extremely heavy. So the lightness and the ease of working with it is kind of why I chose aluminum.
A thicker grade of aluminum helps maintain heat while cooking, and it's also easier to clean and resistant to corrosion. It took almost 2 years and more than 3,000 hours to build this bovine barbecue beauty. El Toro is constructed like a giant puzzle. Russ had to make every piece separately, first carving them out of wood.
And then I would cut out the profile and then carve out whatever shape I could in the wood and then finish that piece off with clay. To get the final detail, I would use clay on top of the wood. And then I would take a mold of that piece with plaster.
He used that plaster to create a fiberglass shape and aligned it perfectly with the rest of the bull's anatomy he'd already created.
The fiberglass piece is the final part that you use to create your aluminum casting. You take your fiberglass pattern, you make a sand mold of the fiberglass pattern, and the cavity is exactly the shape of your pattern, and then you can pour in your molten metal, and in this case I used molten aluminum.
Russ rounded up aluminum from old tire rims, melted them down in a kiln, and poured hot sand casts.
After I had the exterior done, to make the smoker work the way I had intended it to, there was a lot of trial and error on getting the ducting right and getting the airflow just exactly right.
Every step of building El Toro has been well documented and even has been patented. Russ has plans to make and sell additional El Toros. He's also creating a smoker designed to look like a boar.
You really can't cook pork on a bull. It's just not right. So I figured I would have to make a boar to do my hams on, to do my pork on.
The boar is almost as anatomically correct as El Toro. Even the part of the anatomy that makes a bull has a function.
They do act as the ash dump for the grilling section. When you're using this as a grill and you're ready to clean your ashes out, you sweep your ashes through a trap door located back here, and then your ashes fall.
El Toro is both a cooker and a looker. But what do you think it's worth? That's coming up. With its smoking good looks, El Toro is the envy of backyard barbecuers. But what does it cost to hand design and sculpt this bull from cast aluminum? He is highly engineered for perfect cooking when acting as either a grill or a smoker, and he does his job well. Designer Russ Marr estimates El Toro is worth upwards of $30,000.